Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Guys Who Stared. Stats Cade Kennedy with you. It is Sunday afternoon, so it's time once again to take a look at the AP poll for Week 11 of the college football season. The last AP poll that, well, let's be honest, most people are going to talk about with the playoff rankings coming out for the first time later this week. So as we get into it, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, because when those playoff rankings come back, Tyler and I will be there to talk about them on Tuesday night. Well, we got to get into this. The top five, as you can see, not a whole lot changing there. Oregon staying number one, Georgia still at 2. Ohio State takes that 3 spot away from Penn State after getting the big win there in Happy Valley. Buckeye defense played phenomenal. Had the one mistake early, the pick six thrown by Will Howard, also had the touchback fumble there. But Ohio State's defense played phenomenal in this game, as you kind of expected them to do. They get to stay in that 3 spot there. Miami moving up to 4, Texas up to 5. Penn State falling down to 6. It's only a touchdown loss at home to Ohio State. You're not going to get a whole lot of gripes from that, but you can see a bit of a difference there. Only 8 points separating Penn State and Tennessee. And Tennessee, of course, at 7. But now we got to get to the big one. Indiana is number 8. That is a massive deal to see Indiana at number 8. 9-0 for the first time in school history. So much going Indiana's way this season. They play Michigan this week. It's another great opportunity to keep that ball rolling. It's just phenomenal seeing what Indiana's done. This is kind of what I expected to see coming into this week. If Indiana could win, they got a lot of help too. We'll get to that when those teams start to appear at the bottom, it seems like. But Indiana, number 8 in the country, BYU staying at 9, and then Notre Dame being shifted down to number 10. I would assume this is because of the Texas A&M loss and the way that Texas A&M lost, getting beat by 24 by South Carolina. That hurts Notre Dame. They got a little bit of a break with Louisville beating Clemson, that balances out back into a quality win. Your other quality win, though, that looked so good a week ago, now just simply looks okay. Which, is that fair to Notre Dame? Probably not. That Northern Illinois loss, still going to hurt them a lot. I'm sure that's something Tyler and I will talk about when we get to our bracketology videos we're going to be starting. Playoff rankings, all that stuff, that's going to hurt Notre Dame more and more. But then as we get out of the top 10, things get really weird. It's going to, this is going to look really odd. Alabama at 11, that's expected. Alabama bye week this week. Nothing there for the Crimson Tide. But Boise State moving up to 12 for blowing out San Diego State. A lot of that chaos going on around them. And then the big jumper, SMU up to 13 for blowing out Pitt. You can see 48-25. It was not that close. SMU just beat Pitt up and down the field, shut them down. Offense looked phenomenal for the Mustangs. SMU really starting to look like the real deal more and more every single week. They're going to get a lot of credit there. LSU moves up to 14. Texas A&M falls to 15. I'm never going to understand that, since Texas A&M beat LSU. Why would you not keep Texas A&M above LSU? Do I understand that? No, but the AP poll voters are going to do whatever they want there. Ole Miss moves up to 16. Again, some of that is some help from other teams losing. Some of that's when you put 63 on a team and blow out Arkansas the way you did. That's always going to look impressive to people. Iowa State falling down 6 spots to 17. Just talk about a brutal loss for Iowa State. You had the 7-0 trying to get to 8-0, had never been in that kind of position before, and you just fall late to Texas Tech. I mean, that is a brutal, just brutal way to see your undefeated season go away, losing like that. And Army moving up to 18. Army, keep in mind, backup quarterback, still able to roll over Air Force. Army still has not trailed at any point this season. They're trying to battle it out with Boise State for who gets that 12 spot in the playoff. That is going to be a fun race as things continue. Remember, Army will have to play Notre Dame at some point. But as we move down to the bottom few, things are going to continue to get weird. Clemson falls down to 19. That's an 8-spot drop for them, and they honestly deserve it for the way they played against Louisville. This was a game where Clemson just did not bring their A game. They didn't bring their B game. It's debatable if they brought their C game for most of the time. They got beat up and down the field by Louisville. Louisville was able to block 2 field goals. Clemson continued to just sputter around on offense, or really going nowhere. It felt like majority of the drives where they'd start to march and have a little bit of progress and then flatten out there. Louisville just looked like the better team. And you'll see why. They get rewarded down there, it looks like. Washington State up to 20, Colorado up to 21. Both teams winning their bye weeks there, so to speak. And then Kansas State falling to 22. And Kansas State, I mean, just a horrific loss for them. If you talk about Big 12 title race, that's a bad loss for them. Talk about playoff contention, that's basically done unless you win the conference. Just getting, not beat up by Houston, but it's a game you look to be somewhat in control of. You're playing in the rain. You have the ability to run the ball well. Usually when it's raining like that, you have the advantage. But they just could not stop Houston near the end of the game. Houston was able to reestablish themselves, just keep trying to pound away at K-State, and it eventually worked for them. Just getting the quarterback run game going worked out super well for Houston. And for Kansas State, I'm honestly surprised they didn't drop more, because Houston, not a good team, 4-5 on the year. I'm honestly a little bit shocked K-State only fell the 5 spots there. I would have felt that the voters might have booted them down a little bit more, because Pitt falls to 23. Pitt's still 7-1. They still are only a game back in that ACC title race. But going down to Dallas and getting blown out the way you did, just looking, frankly, not like a top 25 team for a lot of the game. SMU was just able to do whatever they wanted to Pitt, which I don't know if that says more about SMU than it does Pitt. That's why SMU was able to move up 7 spots. Pitt was only dropped 5 there. And then you look at the last 2. Welcome back, Vanderbilt. The 17-7 win over Auburn. Vandy is a 6-win team, bowl eligible, which is crazy to see Vandy with being ranked for one again up to number 24, their highest ranking so far this season. They've got their logo even this time, so that's good to see. But Vanderbilt just continuing to impress. Just as they've continued to move along this season, they can't look any more impressive, and then they find a way to do it again. They've had an incredible ride. Diego Pavia still continues to be that guy for them at quarterback. And Vanderbilt, just impressive to watch. That's all you could say about them at this point. Well deserved to be back in the poll. And then Louisville coming in at 25, a massive win for them. First time ever beating Clemson. They got to do it at Death Valley. They got to get the big win there. And Louisville, a team that, talked about a few times on this channel, that they've looked the part at times, but you don't know if they were going to continue to start spiraling, and you keep losing games to good teams. You lost to Notre Dame, you lost to SMU, you lost to Miami. None of those are bad losses, but it's the fact that they kept happening. You showed the competitiveness there, and you finally got one to go your way. They deserve to be in the top 25, and to the surprise of, I think, no one really, they are. But taking a look at the receiving votes down here, kind of the who's the next few in, Missouri falls out, and I mean, they lose the bye week there, but that's deserved with everything else that went around them. Illinois losing as well, they get dropped out. South Carolina moves into that next spot behind Missouri, it deserved with the big win they had over Texas A&M. Tulane, UNLV, and then Louisiana Lafayette, the final 3 there to get to the, I guess, 26 through 30, if you want to call them that. But either way, it's going to be a fun ride, folks. The college football playoff rankings coming out on Tuesday. Tyler and I will be here to cover that. So, folks, you are not going to want to miss that at all. It's going to be a fun time, as always. Feel free, once again, as I said earlier, to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, hit that notification bell to always get notified when new videos come out. Because, folks, it's a wild ride. We've made it to not mid-November yet, but we're getting ever so close. And when that happens, it's always just such a fun time for college football. I know it. You know it. You're going to stick around for the entire ride. But, folks, until next time, have a good one, everybody.